All right, more possible 2028 Democratic presidential candidates are appearing in New York City today for the National Action Network Convention. It's expected to take the stage later former Vice President Kamala Harris and former Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg. So let's bring in CBS News political director Finn Gómez, dressed very sharply,
yes,
I may say.
Dapper, like Vlad.
I know, we all
got it. You got it, baby.
Vlad's fashion man.
So good to have you here. You're normally in D.C.
Yeah.
So what can we expect from these folks tonight?
Look, like what we've heard, like where we are right now, Kelly, is sort of this reintroduction phase for these potential 2020 contenders. Many of them ran before as presidential candidates. Some served in the Biden administration. Others, of course, were national voices within the party. But they're now that we're in this new stage where they can't really announce that they're running, but they're kind of giving feelers out that they are kind of considering it. So this is what this is. And this is the biggest presidential cattle call that we've seen so far, these potential 2028 contenders. We did hear from a bunch of them over the last couple of days, including Senator Gallego, Josh Shapiro, the governor from Pennsylvania. But also the big two headliners today are Kamala Harris, of course, the former vice president, who lost to Donald Trump 2 years ago, as we know. Pete Buttigieg, who's the former transportation secretary under Biden, also ran in 2020. But what we're hearing from Buttigieg's people, they told me that today he plans to talk about that Democrats need a vision the day after Trump, and he's going to emphasize that this will require, quote, big reform. For Harris, we're trying to see any indicators of where she is in her thinking of whether she is really going to jump in again for a third time, or if this is just if she's just part of her consideration process right now. This is the group, though. This is the NAN, or the National Action Network, is founded by Reverend Sharpton. Large amount of civil rights leaders here across the country, black community leaders. I spoke to many of them yesterday, many of these attendees, and that's who they wanted to hear from the most. Kelly and Vlad, was from Kamala Harris. They feel that she needs another shot, perhaps. They at least want to hear her out.
So then what is their message other than Donald Trump bad? I think that, it's going to be difficult for people to give Democrats an opportunity if the only thing that they're bringing to the table is that we are not Donald Trump. You're going to have not just a plan for what you expect to do geopolitically, but more importantly for a lot of Americans, especially given that the president has, for some of his faithful supporters, reneged on some of his promise, right? No foreign wars, and I'd end the Ukraine war. They're going to have something that is going to affect how Americans are living day to day. Do they have that message yet?
That's a great point, and what I brought up with Governors Wes Moore of Maryland and Governor Pritzker, J.B. Pritzker of Illinois. Like, what will they also offer? It can't be like before, like you said, and many Democrats, top Democrats have told me this. It can't be like before where they're just anti-Trump. They also have to offer a solution. Okay, yeah, and what?
Because,
right?
Finney, you know this, right? It's just like with President Trump. When he was running, the MAGA faithful were always going to turn up at the polls.
Sure.
What he was able to do in this last election is bring people who might not have voted for him in years past in states where they perhaps might not have voted for a Republican president. So he got people, Latinos, some African Americans, to come out and vote for him because they felt that he was the better candidate over Kamala Harris. Democrats need to do the same thing. There's always going to be, the Democrats are full of people who don't like Donald Trump. You got to convince the people who are like, hey, you know what? I thought Trump was going to be good for us, but he hasn't been. What are you offering?
Right, and I think that's a great point, Vlad, because it's something that's come up a lot, especially because you've seen some of these parts of the Trump 2024 coalition sort of fragment and fall apart. You talked about Hispanics, black voters as well, black male voters. 20% of them voted for Donald Trump last time around, 24%. Actually, in Governor Pritzker, another potential 2020 contender, he was asked about some of these issues on stage yesterday by the Reverend Al Sharpton. I think we have some.
My answer is, I don't know what I'll be doing after. I hope I win re-election after, but I can tell you this: I'm going to fight like hell to elect a Democrat in 2028.
So that you're not ruling it out.
Reverend, whatever I decide to do, I really mean this. I start with what's going to be best for the people of the state of Illinois.
And you're getting a lot of that sort of tenor, like, it's kind of the big tease stage, I know, right? Because they can't, again, say it. But, that is the question. To your point, Vlad, you're thinking about running. What are you going to offer us? Not just be the anti-Trump.
To be fair, though, just quickly, because I know we have to go, none of the forums that we have, though, for these candidates often lend themselves to very in-depth. It's debates. It's these speeches where you need to rally people with buzzwords. It's not like, okay, let's get into the actual nitty-gritty. Sure. And I think that's what's tough. Like, we want to hear that, but we also have not provided the spaces.
That's why they should come on this show and appear before you.
Yes.
Our political director should make it happen for us.
Working on it.
I love it. Love having you here in New York, Finn. Thank you very much.